Hi, my name is Isabel Seton-Browne and this is my recall audition for the Oxford School of Drama's 6-month foundation programme in acting. I find reality difficult. I find the business of getting up in the morning and getting on with the day really hard. I find picking up my phone to be a mammoth fucking struggle. The number on my inbox, the friends that won't see me anymore, the food pictures and porn videos and the bombings and beheadings and the moral ambivalence you have to have just to be able to carry on with the day. I find the knowledge that we're all just atoms. And one day we'll just stop and be dirt in the ground. I find that overwhelmingly disappointing, and I wish I could feel otherwise. I wish I could be like you, or like my mother, to feel that some things are predetermined and meaningful and that we're somewhere on a track between a start and a finish line, but I can't because I care about what's true, what's actually verifiably true. And you're able to forfeit rationality for accompanying untruth, so how are you supposed to help me? You're looking at the world through such a tight filter, you're barely even living in it, you're barely alive. Drugs and alcohol have never let me down. They have always loved me. There are substances I can put into my bloodstream that make the world perfect. That is the only absolute truth in the universe. I'm acting out because you're trying to take that away from me. So sorry. And this is the sight reading for Solid Ice. It's taken me a while to figure out what to say, and I think it's because I want your approval or blessing or something. The thing is, I can see you feel differently, and that's hard. Feels like solid ice, but more solid. I know it can't melt, and yet there's always the hope that it will, because it is in fact just ice. So it must melt one day, mustn't it? I don't know. You seem to be beyond all of this, but surely you can see how hard this is for me. That look you give me when we both know we disagree. Kind of like a warning, threat even. And it shuts me down inside. Perhaps you don't mean it like that, but that's how it feels. So for the first interview question about the two moments, the first moment I'd like to tell you about happened way back at the end of 2017 on school leavers. So it was around 3 in the morning and I turned the corner into the room that I was sleeping in and see the biggest spider I had ever seen and have ever seen since, just sitting on the wall. It was like the size of my hand, and I'm not the biggest fan of spiders, but I really hated them at that point, so I back out of the room, not taking my eyes off of it, and I go to the others. I was like, guys, there's a spider in my room, like, what do we do? And they go, right, we need to call the boys. And I was like, nope. Suddenly, nope, we're not calling the boys. I will get rid of the spider. So I go to the kitchen, I take out the cup, the glass, and I realise that the glass is not going to be big enough for that spider. We need something bigger. So 10 minutes later, I am standing in front of the spider with a bucket in hand and the brush part of a dustpan and brush, and I sweep it into the bucket and run to the front door and then throw that thing as far as I possibly can from the front door. And this links quite strongly to the second moment, which was a bit more recently. I noticed a spider spiders again, sitting on the window of the bathroom that my brother and I share. And I mean, I'd known it was there for a couple of weeks, but this was the first time I kind of eyeballed it properly. Anyway, I go into my brother's room and I go, there's a spider in the bathroom, should we do something about that? And he goes, no, it's fine. And I go, okay, what should we name it? And he goes, Wilfred. So now we have a bathroom spider called Wilfred. But I think these two moments, within the context of each other, demonstrate a certain growth, I guess, and capacity to change and learn, even if it is just overcoming vague arachnophobia and asserting myself to a spider. That first moment back in 2017, I think, was really the beginning of me coming into myself more as a person, and I think that that is really reflected in the person I am now, who can comfortably brush my teeth in front of a spider. As for the second interview question, I have to talk about my high school drama teacher, Miss Hughes. So I found out last year, I overheard a conversation of a couple of girls from my school that I'd graduated from a couple of years ago, talking about how Miss Hughes had quit her job as a teacher to pursue writing. I remember at the time thinking, like, Jesus, is the new teacher really that bad? And then my second thought being, that's really risky, I hope she has a plan B. I don't really think about it much more, and then I saw her again quite recently at a drama class reunion. Our drama class was like really, really close. So we were having this reunion and I was talking to her about it. I was going, how's the writing going? And she's like, oh, it's going really well, I'm really happy. How's the theatre going? And I went, yes, the theatre. Going great. I wasn't doing any theatre at the time. So it was a bit, I felt very strange about giving me, you know, telling her that I wasn't doing any theatre at the time. But anyway, the fact that she had just sort of quit her job to do what she wanted to do really hit me later on that day, and I realised that at the time I had been following my plan B pathway, I suppose, rather than doing what I really wanted to do, which was acting and theatre and creating stuff. And I think really Miss Hughes just sort of inspired me to take a step back and think about where I am and where I want to be.